Hiya and welcome back to Tennis Ace, the game that teaches us that we will try our best to not scream at the top of our lungs just for June. Anyways, let's just hop right in. They do make me feel a little bit better. The whooshing sound of the fan spinning on max power echoed in the room, louder than anything else. You actually did scream. Shit. Or maybe that is a bit of an overstatement. In reality, while the fan isn't enough to drown out the TV, I still focus on it instead, leaving whatever I had been pretending to watch as only a backdrop. Not only is a cool wind on my skin soothing, but the consistent sound of the blades spinning and cutting through the air was somehow relaxing. I'm not used to feeling so lethargic, but I suppose part of it is just my body relaxing after all the built-up stress that had kept me tense for so long started washing away. I still get the feeling that if things are being passed through water sometimes, like I'm drifting away and struggling to connect with myself. Oh, don't worry, I'm also going to scream. But every time it happens, I hear June's voice telling me to focus on my breathing and start doing the exercise he showed me. Maybe as a result of it, or maybe for a totally unrelated reason, it's been happening less and less over the past couple of days. I felt so tired after I came back from the first time it happened that I didn't even notice how long I slept after June had left. After talking to Mom and taking into consideration the situation earlier in the week, we decided that I should stay home for a couple more days. At least until the dust settled a little bit more, or the reporters lost interest in me, whichever came first. I did make an effort to get out of my room a little more, if only to set Mom and Aki more at ease. Even if they were trying not to, it was pretty obvious once I looked a bit closer that the way I've been acting had worried them a bit. They were just keeping quiet about their concerns since I'd shut them out if they tried to say anything. Seriously, how stupid am I for not noticing at all? There we go. Oh, Yuichi-kun, I didn't see you come downstairs. Is that so surprising? This is my house after all. You know that's not what I meant. True to her word, when she was here last, Sai dropped by a few hours ago to do some chores around the house. She even knocked on my door to let me know she was here, having waited until she knew Mom had gone back to work and wouldn't be home to stop her. I don't know if I should praise her on it or not. How are you feeling? You weren't up to much talking when I first dropped by. I was still drowsy then. Think not exercising anymore starting to get to me. That's not great. It's to be expected. All I've done lately is eat and sleep. So long as you're doing alright, I guess that's fine. Are you done, by the way? Yep, took out the trash, did some light cleaning up, finished up the laundry. Oh, and I put the meals I brought over in the freezer. Thanks, Saya-chan. The previous ones you brought over were a real lifesaver, by the way. Don't mention it, at least you're looking a little bit better now. Your eyes are nowhere near as sunken as last time. I don't doubt that. I can only assume that I looked like a total mess before, given how many people I managed to worry solely by existing. By the way, did you know that Mom is going to insist on paying you if you really do make this a habit, right? That's alright, so long as she doesn't catch me, she can't give me money. I can't decide if that is the most brilliant or stupid thing I've ever heard. Are you seriously going to do this? Well, yeah, why wouldn't I? Don't you have to worry about the tennis club? And your job? Psh, my schedule is flexible anyway, just gotta let them know beforehand so I can trade shifts with my coworkers. No one wants to work on weekends, so it's a sure bet I can get days off here or there if I offer to work weekend shifts. You call that flexible? I wouldn't feel right if I didn't do something to help. Your mom isn't here to clean and cook every day anymore. You can't do that either, and frankly, if what I saw earlier is any indication, Aki-kun isn't good at it. What did you see? Drag marks on the dirt and dust on the floor. I think he tried to mop with only water. Yeah, so he only moved the dirt around instead of cleaning it. Yup, same thing with a few counters. I guess that makes sense. I never made Aki do that many chores. Maybe washing the dishes or vacuuming once and twice, but that's about where it stops. I didn't get your mom's laundry, though. I don't think Misaki-san would like if I went into her room without permission. That's probably for the best. Thanks for at least doing mine. I did Aki-kun's, too. You did? Wait, how? Aki-kun is even home. I managed to convince him to head to his club today since he's been skipping out on practice a lot to help me out around the house. Did you go into his room to get it? Yeah, what's the big deal? It's a 12-year-old boy's room. Not like I'm going to find anything weird there. Besides, I've pretty much known him since he was a baby. I don't think that's quite the point, Saya-chan. But don't worry, if I had found any dirty magazines or anything else suspicious, I'd have set fire to it in the trash bin outside. That only makes me worry more. We've been keeping our laundry in our rooms for years to avoid making trips downstairs every day just to put it in the laundry basket, but maybe I should talk to Aki about doing that from now on, for the sake of his privacy. That's, please don't set fire to other people's things. Why not? I'd only be doing it to the things he's not supposed to have. The counters aren't the issue here, woman. The fire is. The contents aren't the issue here, woman. The fire is. Ugh, you know what? I don't have the energy for this discussion right now. Sai-chan can have the weirdest blind spots, and trying to make her understand that is a chore. How are Shoichi and the others? I haven't seen them at all since last week. Granted, I know Saya told them to stay away to give me space since I needed it, but still, it feels like my fault. They're fine. Shoichi-kun grumbles a bit for wanting to visit and see you, but I remind him that you're not up to having any visitors, and that mostly shuts him up. Other than that, Kei-kun and Jun-kun are pretty good about it. They asked me how you were doing the last time I was here, but other than that, I've kept quiet. Right. Sai-chan doesn't know that Jun totally came over without telling anyone. I mean, it's a good thing that he did, but I better not tell her about it. If he got back to Shoichi, he might grumble even more. Or maybe he'd be understanding if you knew it was Jun. I'm not sure how things stand now that he knows about us. Couldn't you ask them that? Haven't you gone back to messaging us again? I have, but I don't know. If they were worried or doing badly, do you think they'd tell me about it? Do you think I would? Okay, that's a good point. I reached for my phone, deciding to scroll up and look at the messages they'd sent me over the last few days, if only to remind myself of it. Shoichi definitely blew a gasket over the whole thing. I'm touched over the concern, but I also feel really bad for leaving him unanswered for so many days. It's scary just how worried I managed to leave Shoichi. If I'd taken into consideration the whole conversation we had just a few days before all this happened, then it's no wonder. Am I a shitty friend? I feel like a shitty friend. At least Kei-kun was more reasonable by comparison. Then it did work. Good, I am pleased to hear. On the other hand, Kei-kun is scary for a completely different reason. I smirk, shaking my head at the sheer absurdity of everything the heir had done without my knowledge. Being friends with the heir to one of the largest tech conglomerates out there sure can be handy sometimes, and weird. I saw myself right before tapping on my conversation with Jun. Although he was at about the same level of frantic as Shoichi on the days before dropping by my house, reading his unanswered messages to me over the days makes my heart hurt a lot more. I decided to leave it be for now, not wanting to pull a face in front of Saya or anything. You looking at anything in particular? Just rereading the messages the guys sent me while I was away, reminding myself of what I had to feel sorry about. I don't think any of them would want you to feel guilty, you know. Too late. Blech, you're so stubborn. Said the Queen of Stubbornlandia. So? Whose messages were you reading? Shoichi's and Keisuke's. Why? Not Jun-kun's? Huh? Not really? What's going on? Why do you look so suspicious? The rabbit stops fidgeting and instead looks straight at me, her eyes scanning my face and making me very uncomfortable in the process. Saya-chan? I wasn't sure if I should ask, but I might as well. Ask what? How are things going with you and Jun-kun? Ha! Caught by surprise, I briefly choke on my own saliva, sputtering a few unintelligible words as my eyes threaten to bulge out of my skull. Why are you asking me that? Seriously? I've tried to give you your privacy and all, but how long am I supposed to pretend I don't know something's going on between you two? Pretend? How do you even know? Shit. My heart is beating so hard in my chest, I wasn't expecting to be ambushed like this at all. First Shoichi, and now Saya? Or I guess Shoichi didn't so much call me out on it as I was the one that accidentally told him, but still. How do you... You haven't exactly made it difficult to tell. You're the one that told Shokun and I about Jun confessing to you back at the school festival, remember? Oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I? You, Ichi, you moron. But to go from that to this is a bit... Is it? You two have been a lot closer since you came out of the hospital, and Jun-kun told us you two were hanging out the day of the hospital, alone, together. It wasn't that hard to connect the dots and figure out that something happened between you two. Are you official yet, or still testing the waters? Yeah. Man, my face feels so hot right now. When she puts it like that, it all sounds so logical and obvious that I feel like it should be no surprise that she figured it out. But I just don't like the idea of someone being able to call me out on my personal business this easily, especially with something like this. Yeah. Yeah, what? Yeah, we've made it official. Is that so? Well, I'm happy for you two. Are you? Don't get me wrong, I have my concerns, but they have nothing to do with you two's relationship. And so long as you really do like him, then yes, I'm happy for you two. That's nice to hear. I never expected Sai to be judgmental about it, but it's still a relief to hear her say that. Could you keep quiet about it, though? June was super flustered and upset when I accidentally told Shoichi we were What? While I expected some kind of shock or surprise earlier when I first confirmed her suspicions, I certainly didn't expect her to react at this of all things. And so loud, geez, my ears are ringing, Sai-chan. But what was that for? You told Shoichi? Oh. Oh. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Wait, is it even a problem that Shoichi knew? Why is she so shocked here? Wait, Shoichi did mention that Saya knew about his feelings for me, and something about her being his support when he felt sad or struggled with it. Is that what this is about? Oh dear. Did I? I don't remember anything. I don't remember anymore. So say, is that dryer going off that I hear? Yuichi-kun. I'm innocent. I swore on my mother's grave. That's a horrible thing to say. And your mother's not dead. On my father's grave? Yuichi-kun. Damn, Yuichi. Sai and I chit-chat for a little while longer, catching up on some of the stuff I missed at school while I was away while she waited for the laundry to be finished. Once she was done with all the chores she'd set out to do, the rabbit quickly said her farewells, telling me she'd put some of the frozen food in the fridge to defrost and that she'd be heading out for a half shift at work. I can't help feeling a bit guilty that she came over to help when she clearly was scheduled to work today, but I know that even if I bring it up, she'll act like it's no big deal. You simply can't convince her otherwise when she decides on something. Meanwhile, Aki arrived some 20 minutes ago or so, and we talked for a bit about today's practice before he excused himself to go take a bath. So I ended up browsing my phone without much else to do. I don't want to go back to my room just yet. I feel like I've gotten more than enough of it this past week. Besides, it needs to air out a bit, starting to smell a bit musty from my locking myself in there with the doors and windows closed for so long. As I'm looking at one of the recent articles that had been published about me, my phone rings and vibrates in my hand, giving me a brief startle. I tap on the notification, seeing that it was a message from June. Always. Hey. Poke, poke. He is not as much of a dumbass as Walter. Pfft, what you poking me for? Can I call? I miss hearing your voice. I want to see you. Of course. Can you send me a picture too? June. Someone's being a bit greedy, huh? I just want to see you. Lol. I'll snap a quick one, 1 sec. Thanks. Looking at the tiger's text, my mouth curls up into a dumb, goofy grin. While I feel terrible for having worried him the past few days, getting to text with June when we're both free feels so nice. My heart always flutters whenever I get a message from him and his silly little tiger kisses. It's kind of funny. I didn't even know June until not long ago, and now we're like this. Makes me happy just thinking about him. Plus, even if I struggle sometimes to tell whether the world around me is real or if I'm seeing things, sometimes I feel like I'm not myself. Even if I sometimes feel like I'm not myself. The happiness and excitement every time I talk to June is the one thing that absolutely always feels real. July 21st. Friday. I leaned back on my chair, absent-mindedly staring at the ceiling while fighting off the general boredom of being left in the room all alone. Having gone back to class on Monday, I found myself, whether through Keisuke's influence based on what he said in our messages, or through the careful leaking of information on my end to distract the media, less and less hounded by reporters. As a result, other than a handful of uncomfortable meetups, I've mostly been left alone. Thankfully, since I pretty much only go from home to school and then my physical therapy appointments, I always have someone around me to forcefully shoo away any annoying reporters and potential. Although, even if the decision to slowly let people know about my condition was the right one for the sake of keeping them off my back, it's still very upsetting to see the articles about me that keep popping up. But then again, at least I would rather have said articles be accurate. It's better than seeing stealthy pictures of me showing up online and guessing about why I'm walking with crutches and the likes. I sigh, closing my eyes and cupping my face between my hands. This whole situation has been a lot more trouble than it should have been. Are these people utterly incapable of understanding boundaries? I'm already going through hell here. Do you really have to add to it? Jerks. On the other hand, I'll still take that over being locked in my room again. I am 100% sure now that I was slowly starting to lose my mind over the last week. Much more of that and I'd surely have gone crazy. It was a bit overwhelming to see all my classmates hovering around me and asking me how I'm doing when I got back on Monday, but man, I sure missed the socializing. The thing I didn't miss was the schoolwork, though. I was already trying to catch up to everything I missed out on while I was at the hospital. God, why did I have to go and shut myself in for so long again? Past Yuichi, you idiot. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've made for me? You dumbass, dullard, idiot, moron. It's no use. Every time I remember the mountain of homework and notes I have to catch up on, I get so bitter. Shoichi and Sai have been helping me out where they can, and class rep even roped Kyoko-chan into helping me out as well. But I can't help feeling a bit guilty for depending on them so much. It's not like it takes me long to learn this stuff, but it's just so tedious. Hiya. Oh, June. Not to mention how it feels like there's no end in sight. I swear, people will someday find my mummified corpse clutching my head and staring at this desiccated notebook. Man, my mind sure goes to weird places nowadays when I'm alone. Is this all from the isolation I've been doing as of late? Well, I'm stuck in the middle of my far too passionate argument with myself. One of the doors gets slid open. The sudden noise interrupting my thoughts and dragging my attention to their source. Right away, I notice a certain tiger closing the door behind him and sighing, his brow furrowed and twitching into quite the noticeable frown. You're back. How did it go? It was pain. I noticed the tiger carrying a stack of papers under one of his arms. He heads to a nearby desk, grabbing his bag and haphazardly stuffing them inside. June's usually so careful when it comes to putting away sheet music, but you can really tell when he's handling papers he doesn't care about. Did they give you a talking to? It's fine. That's not really what I asked. It's fine. Yeah, I'm clearly not getting anything else out of him right now. No point in pushing. The reason for the sudden onset of grumpiness is apparently due to the upcoming school trip. While it was supposed to have taken place in the middle of July, right before the start of our summer break, there was some kind of issue that forced it to be pushed back to September after resuming class. All of which would have been fine by me, since it might actually mean I'll have a chance to attend. But it seems June's paperwork was severely out of order. He hadn't gotten the appropriate parental or medical clearance to go. Oof. He told me that they're apparently stricter on him due to his medical condition, but I didn't know it was this much. At least I'm glad he's keeping me in the loop now, but sheesh. If this is what he has to deal with all the time, I can see why he's so hesitant to tell people. Okay, maybe we should just talk about something else. Have you given any thought about what you're going to do next month? School break starts on the 1st of August, right? I'm mostly going to take part in competitions. I have to do a few more before I'm comfortable with my results. Oh, right. And didn't you have one yesterday? Which, by the way, I'm still really sorry for not having gone to. There's no reason for you to apologize. You couldn't if you wanted to. Besides, I didn't even tell you where it was going to be. Didn't stop me that other time. Right, I guess so. Still, how did it go? 4th. Huh? I placed 4th. Wait, really? You didn't win? It's not like I'm going to win every single one, you know. It's kind of a miracle that I've won the last few that I've been to. I went years without competing. Do you have any idea how behind that put me? I guess I can see that, but still. Okay. What about that other guy? That lion dude that you seem to be friends with? Ah, Shinji-kun? He placed 2nd. Seriously? So he didn't win either? You seem to think that these competitions are a lot easier than they really are, Yuichi-kun. Well, can you blame me? I don't know much about them, and of the ones I watched, you and him were the only people that I found interesting. Yesterday's competition was a fair bit bigger. It's to be expected that the competition would be more difficult. Makes sense. Jun said he had to go all the way to Tokyo for that one. In fact, he seemed pretty freaked out when we talked on the phone. Something about the venue being huge and there being too many people. I really wonder what the hell kind of place he spent the last few years in that he's this bad at dealing with people. Especially considering we're talking about Tokyo here. Crowds are just a fact of life. But 4th place? Huh. And are you going to be okay, you know, since you only got 4th place? I'm fine with it. Really? Sure. I'd have preferred to win, but it's not like 4th place is bad. For a competition of that side, I'm just happy to have placed in the top 5. It's not as if my competition record is the only thing being taken into consideration for me to enter Cologne University. I'm going to submit a demo application showing my skills, video application showing my skills, not to mention my school grades and the likes. My competition results are important, but they're only one part of it. And you're confident about your chances? Let's just say I'm glad my grades have been going up since I started studying with you a couple of months ago. Hey now, come on, that sounds like the complete opposite of confident. Are you sure you're going to be okay? That's, encouraging. Don't look at me like that, it could be a lot worse. I'm actually doing pretty well, all things considered. Just because it could be worse doesn't mean it couldn't also be better. Besides, I have very little to do now that I'm stuck at home most of the time, so I have a lot more free time for my mind to wander and worry. Give me a break here. Okay, I'll try not to think about it too much. Hang on, I'm turning up the volume for the music. Think about it too much. Thanks. Anyways, I'm kind of tired of thinking about all this stuffy stuff. Do you mind if I play for a bit? Mind? Isn't that why I came here in the first place? That's right, ever since I came back to school on Monday, I've been coming to this here room to watch June play every day after class, with the only exception being 2 days ago when I had physical therapy. The tiger digs into his bag, quickly grabbing a piece of complicated-looking sheet music and laying it on the piano in front of him. For the past few days, June has taken some time to teach me some more piano basics. A lot of that stuff still goes over my head once he gets excited and starts spouting technical terms, but it makes me happy just seeing him like that. There's no doubt about it, I have fallen in love with watching June perform. Even if I don't understand the first thing about it, seeing him playing his piano always gives me butterflies. The way he moves, the way his fingers dance atop the keys, the way his tail sways from side to side. How I wish I could have had an easier time moving around right now. Just looking at him from behind isn't enough. I want to see the look on his face. June always has the most serene, beautiful smile when he's playing. Yes, I've fallen in love all right. With the sight, the sound, the scent of this tiger. I want to hug you so bad right now. Why is it that just getting to sit quietly like this and listening to you play fills me with so much joy? Oh shit. Even though we spend most of our time here in silence, I still feel so much closer to you whenever I watch you perform. A selfish part of me wants to hold on to you no matter what, to ask you not to go away to Germany once we graduate, to stay here with me. But I know that's unfair. I wouldn't have given leaving a second thought if I were still able to play tennis and carry on with my career plans. Or, well, maybe I would have. I don't know. We weren't dating yet then, so the idea hadn't crossed my mind. I didn't know how much my chest would tighten and hurt when I thought of one of us moving away. But it doesn't change the fact that we'd probably end up long distance anyway. That is, if you even wanted that. God, why am I getting so far ahead of myself? Just enjoy the damn show, Yoichi, you idiot. In retrospect, I think I liked it better when I was having the more weird, unhinged thoughts over this. Despite having to mentally smack myself a few times to keep from going too far with the doom and gloom, I still managed to overall enjoy the experience for what it is. Getting to spend time with my boyfriend. Yeah, I'm lowering the volume again. Yeah. Jun plays through a fair number of songs before eventually stopping and slowly exhaling. I think that should be good enough. Odd, he usually plays for longer than this. Are you sure? Doesn't feel like you've been practicing for as long as you usually do. You do remember I was away for a while at the teacher's office getting chewed out by our homeroom teacher, right? Yeah, right, you were there for a while. I'm well aware of how hypocritical this is going to sound coming from me, but you really do need to be more aware of things in general. He's got a fair point. It's not unusual for me to get lost in thought once in a while, but it's been getting ridiculous lately. My bad. I guess if you're going to be this agreeable, there's no need for me to lecture you. Thanks for being so understanding. Not sure if I'd call it that. More like I make it a habit not to not kick someone when they're down. Oh, that's a lot less nice then. You know, you say things like that a lot more often nowadays. It's not like I'm not used to it, but dear God, it still catches me by surprise sometimes. And that smirk makes you look downright evil, Jun-kun. I'd appreciate if you didn't look at me like that. You sure do make a lot of new faces lately. Me? It's probably your imagination. Like hell it is. As I let out a sigh, the tiger grabs a chair and moves it so we can sit right next to me. Despite being used to it by now, I still straighten up instinctively when I feel the tiger's shoulder touching mine. Come on, seriously? You're still that jumpy around me? Sorry. I keep panicking a little when someone's gonna see us. Then let them see us. You sure say some bold stuff every now and again. And you keep acting surprised each and every time, despite having had time to get used to it. It's a habit, please forgive it. It's hard to even describe the mix of emotions I went through after you started revealing all these new sides of yourself to me. Awe, shock, horror, relief, acceptance. I kept cycling between all of them over and over on a loop for a while, not really sure where I was supposed to end on. In fact, the more I thought about it, the more knowing the loop got. It'll take a little while longer for it all to properly sink in. You're probably right about that, sorry. No need to apologize. So that was just you twisting the knife a little bit because you could. The new you can be kind of scary sometimes. Are these your tiger instincts or something? Well, whatever. You're still plenty cute regardless. So long as that remains the case, I can live with anything. June leans against me, our shoulders rubbing against each other while his tail brushes up against me. I've noticed it a few times before, but he really seems to love wrapping his tail around me whenever given the chance. Not that I'm complaining, it's adorable, not to mention really comfortable. His tail is a lot sturdier than it seems. First it looks like it might all be fluff, but it's actually surprisingly dexterous. You're already clinging to me. Seems like it came a little early today. You can't help it! You had your doctor's appointment 2 days ago, and then I had my competition yesterday. I haven't had time for this for 2 days already. You make it sound like a really long time since we fooled around. Well, to me it is. Right. Another thing I've managed to figure out quite quickly in this last week is that this kitty is quite a bit clingy when he wants to be. Not that I mind, he still gives me space when I want it, and is more than happy to follow whatever pace I set. But if I let him have his way, he gets all over me really fast. Which eventually leads to... The tiger boldly leans toward me, covering the distance between our faces surprisingly fast and capturing my lips with his. There it is. Ever since I've come back to school on Monday and started watching June's piano practice, every day somehow managed to end up exactly like this. As June and I make out, I feel the tiger's hand on my thigh as he holds on to me to keep his balance. For my part, I cup June's cheek with one of my hands, trying to hold on to him despite us being awkwardly seated in 2 different chairs. The tiger assaults me with kisses, some only brief pecks on my lips, others long and passionate, needily nibbling on my lower lip as if demanding more of it regardless. I eventually push my tongue past his lips and into his mouth, exploring every inch of it that I can, throwing away any last speck of inhibition. The tiger doesn't hesitate at all, already far too used to this despite the short time we've been dating, and meeting my own tongue with his. His tongue pushes past mine, rubbing together in a far too clumsy manner that does nothing to hide our growing enthusiasm. All I know is that it makes me regret not having cared about learning how to kiss better before now. I used to think I didn't really like it and so didn't put effort into it. Now? Yuichi? In between all the not subtle sounds of wet kissing, gasps and moans, June's hand rides lower on my thigh at the same time as his tail coils itself tightly around my waist. The tiger makes no secret at all of how much he enjoys the attention, greedily pulling me closer as he wordlessly begs for more. And for the most part, I don't hesitate to give it to him. My whole body feels so much hotter whenever we kiss, as if my internal temperature were spiking the longer we go on and leading me to melt into the kiss. We carry on like this for what feels like seconds, though I'm sure it could be several minutes for all that I know, merely getting lost in the feeling of being so close and intimate with one another. I want to feel his fur against mine, I want to get a taste of him. I want to hear the sounds he makes when I nibble on his lips. That's all there is to it. My attention, however, is brought back to reality as soon as I feel something brush against another very sensitive part of me. I jerk away at the sudden touch, causing the tiger to yelp in surprise. Sorry, your hand brushed against my... you know. It's fine. Man, that was dangerous. What is going on with me? My guy seems to stand at attention more and more easily every time we do this. I feel like this is foreshadowing. I'd been cutting our makeout sessions short every time I noticed him getting too obvious, but this time I didn't even realize. And June's hand almost touched it by accident. That would have been mortifying. You know, I didn't mean to apply. I just need some water. But it'll go down on its own. Please don't mind it. Just, can you give me some water? In my absolute embarrassment at being caught like that, I panic a little. Not at all coolly begging the tiger to get me a glass of water. If only so we can be out of the room for a bit until it eventually goes down again. Fine. For some reason, the tiger sighs. Quite loudly, in fact, before nodding and heading out of the room with an empty water bottle he picked up from my bag. Yeah. Still, eventually June leaves the room, allowing me to finally breathe out. I look down, glaring at the lump that now throbs angrily in my pants. What the hell, man? Could your sense of time suck any worse? Seriously, I was actually enjoying that. Why did you have to ruin it? I hope June doesn't think I'm some kind of pervert. It's not like I haven't thought about it. I'm a guy after all, but I don't want him to think that I'm not aware of his circumstances. Last thing I would want to do is push him to do something dangerous. After all, sex is, you know, kind of tiring and all. Wouldn't that be bad for his heart? Part of me wanted to ask him about it, but isn't it far too soon for that? If I brought it up when we've only just begun dating, isn't he going to think that I'm just trying to get into his pants? God, I hate this so bad. Stupid, annoying, inconvenient timing. While I fling more insults at myself like that, June eventually comes back. With the mood mostly ruined, like it has been every single time I cut one of our sessions short due to this exact problem, we go back to awkwardly chatting about mundane things with hints of red still visible on both our faces. And, despite all that, I still wouldn't trade these moments for anything. Unless they were more of the less embarrassing moments that come right before. Okay, I'd trade these moments for one thing. I catch myself humming a random song that's been stuck in my head for a few days while washing the leftover dishes from lunch. Thankfully, Saya's frozen lunches that she's been bringing over every few days have been a real lifesaver since cooking is still a bit difficult for me. My knee's quite a bit better and I can mostly move around without issues sometimes, but since I still have to use the brace and the crutches, I always have to find something I can lean on to make sure I'm not putting any weight on my bad leg. It's fine for short bursts, but when I'm doing something like cooking, it gets really inconvenient really fast. Besides, it's not like Aki or Mom would let me do any of this stuff in the first place. In fact, I had to tell Aki not to wash the dishes and to let them soak for a bit to get him to go upstairs to his room without doing them himself. Which, of course, means I have no idea how long I still have until he comes downstairs. I'm still surprised he went with it so easily, though. Every time I try to convince Aki to leave the house or let me be alone somewhere, he resists a lot. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the love, but I need to be able to have some time to myself outside of just on the toilet or my room. Though I will admit, it's kind of ironic how fast I went from I need more human interaction to, please, for the love of God, let me have some alone time. Ever since the accident has been so confusing and contradictory. Everything since the accident has been so confusing and contradictory. I keep twisting myself into knots and not knowing what I'm even feeling half the time. Well, I'll just focus on doing the dishes. At least that's a non-depressing thing I can think about. Therefore, chop chop, we're racing against the clock here, people. I have to get these dishes washed before he comes back and catches me in the act. Besides, this is the kind of trick that can only ever work exactly once. So if Aki were to catch me before I'm done, that would mean I wasted my only chance. I feel silly for being so dramatic over household chores, but dear God, I had no idea how much I would miss having responsibilities. Having something to do never felt more crucial in my life. Otherwise, I spent my days withering away watching the TV or playing games all slack-jawed. God, how bad do things have to get where what used to be my ideal vacation has turned into hell? Give me something to do, anything. I'm so bored and I hate feeling so coddled. Let me have my independence, for crying out loud. However, my internal rant is interrupted by an unexpected knock coming from the front door. I quickly dry my hands and check the time on my phone. It's not even 2 p.m. Who the hell's knocking on our door at this time of day? Wait. Oh crap, if Aki hears that and comes downstairs, he'll catch me doing the dishes. Shit, doesn't matter. If they're still damp, put them away. I'm coming, hang on a second. God, what shit timing you have, stranger. I quickly put the dishes away, at least taking care not to get water all over the floor, since that would create a serious slipping risk for me. Grabbing my other crutch, since I've been leaning on one of them the entire time to keep myself upright, I make my way to the front door as quickly as I can. Nichan, is someone at the door? I hear my little brother shouting from upstairs, but do my best to reply without letting my voice go up an octave. Yeah, it's alright, I'm already on it, don't worry about it. Man, I feel like a kid caught with their hands in the cookie jar or something. Thankfully, I've gotten so used to walking around in these that they're barely an impediment to me anymore. I get to the front door, thankfully before whoever it is has the time to knock again. I can vaguely make out what seems to be more than one shape through the glass on the wooden sliding door, but the light coming from outside makes it far too murky to tell who it is. Jeez, do you notice the Right as I'm about to tear into the inconvenient stranger knocking on our door on a Sunday, I come face to face with the towering figure of my childhood friend and freeze mid-sentence. Shoichi? No, finish your sentence. I do notice the that's not important. What's up? I didn't expect you and... Wait, Keisuke? I thought for sure he'd be with Sai if he's here with someone else. Good afternoon, Yuichi-san. I'm sorry for the sudden intrusion. Come on, don't say it like that. It makes it sound like we're unwelcome here. If you're so worried about that, you should have listened to my suggestion when I said we ought to let Yuichi-san know before making plans. Plans? Oh dear. Sorry, I seem to be getting ahead of myself. How have you been, Yuichi-san? We just saw each other at school 2 days ago. Do you really need to be asking me that? It's a polite thing to do. So is asking someone first before showing up at their place, so I don't know why you're getting hung up on this part of all things. What are you guys doing here? First of all, are we really going to do this out here? Can't you invite us inside first? Part of me doesn't want to out of sheer spite, but I suppose it's best that I do. Yeah, come on in. Aki's upstairs in his room right now. Great. I urged the two inside, shutting the door behind them and gesturing for them to take a seat before doing the same thing myself. So, did something happen? Not so much that something happened, more like, oh man, we've barely gotten started and you're already struggling to come up with words? That was fast. Shoichi here said he wanted us to do something special as a group, you know, since he missed hanging out with all of his friends. Oh. Hang on a second, you weren't supposed to tell him that! Am I wrong? You make it sound like I'm the only one that wanted to do this. Hey, now, I will admit that today's plans were my idea, but you can't deny that you're the one who first brought up wanting to do something special to celebrate. Keisuke, you're a bastard. In more ways than one, yes. Wow. Part of me wants to step in and tell these two to cut it off, but after everything Shoichi told me about how him and Keikun enjoy being at each other's throats like this, I decide that it's none of my business and there's no point in me even bothering. Whatever, these two are weird. I'll let them be weird on their own. Great, I see. So you guys wanted to plan something special to celebrate what exactly? Wait, are you seriously asking me that? Shouldn't it be obvious? Should what be obvious? How much of a pain in the ass you guys can be when you're being all secretive and stuff? Yeah, yep, that much is plenty obvious. To make it a bit clear, my initial idea was to make it a movie marathon. Since we can't rightly go out and do things, I thought something low-key that we can do indoors would be best. Oh, but I do absolve myself from the keeping it a secret part. That had nothing to do with me. Dude, we've been here for all of 5 minutes and you're already hanging us out to dry. The hare merely smirks in response, making Shoichi shake his head and sigh yet again. Either way, we spent most of last week planning it in secret. I know we could have technically left it for tomorrow since summer break and everything, but then it wouldn't be as much of a surprise. Yes, I really am surprised that you guys showed up at my place without warning and for no reason. Indeed, color me surprised. Do I sound bitter? I feel like I'm sounding bitter. Not to say that a movie night sounds bad, but what were we going to do if I had plans? Man, who are you kidding? Aki-kun already let us know that you do nothing all day whenever you're home, and that you complain loudly about how bored you are. But wait, I complain loudly? I thought I was only saying it in my head. The implications of that are concerning. Still, I can't believe that little twerp sold me out like that. It's like I'm not happy to have people over, but at least consult me on it, damn it. Aki's definitely getting a piece of my mind later, just wait till he comes downstairs. We messaged him to let him know we were on our way. He's probably hiding right now. Yeah. What? Is that why he agreed so quickly to let me be alone in the living room earlier? Well, Saichan and Jun-kun should be on their way. They were stopping by to pick up some of the stuff first. Stuff? What stuff? I did offer to do it myself since we were being driven here, but Mizuguchi-san insisted. Oh my god, thank you for the follow. But no, we are possibly having technical issues. It should be. Insisted on what? Could you two quit it with the annoying pronoun? Osu! Oh yeah, there's going to be an ad. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of the front door being slammed open, along with a loud greeting being yelled and getting funneled through the small corridor into the living room. At least knock first. Before long, the two familiar faces stride into the living room like they own the place, but then again, with how often Saya's been coming over, I'm not even surprised anymore. We are here. Oh my god. I think they can tell, Mizuguchi-san. Hey, Yuichi, surprise? Are you surprised? I bet you are. I'm sure you didn't see this coming at all. I swear to God, my house is now a circus, and you are all the clowns. What is even going on here? Can someone at least try to tell me? Saya-chan, we haven't told him about it yet. Wait, seriously? Then my triumphant entrance was for nothing? That's lame. I told you, Mizuguchi-san. Why would they tell him about the surprise before we all arrived? That's boring. I wanted to be the one that makes the dramatic entrance at the last second with the cake and everything. Cake? It is only when Saya says that I finally take a look down at what the two of them are carrying. June seems to have a few cardboard boxes that, from the grease stain on the bottom, seem to have some kind of food. Meanwhile, Saya is carrying what is unmistakably a decorated cake of some kind. Why do you guys have food and cake? Lunch was just an hour ago. What are you people even thinking? Yuichi-kun, happy birthday! Eh? Wait, what did you just say? Whoa, hang on. But my birthday isn't until tomorrow. That's why it's a surprise! Wouldn't it be a bit too obvious if we did it on your actual birthday? I didn't even remember my birthday was tomorrow until you guys wished me a happy birthday just now. God, this is way too much to keep track of. My head hurts. That's certainly a reason. Oh, please, just admit we got you good already. You certainly got me, yes. Not sure if I'd say you did it good, though. Yes, enjoy the occasional word salad that I make, because I occasionally forget how to speak English, apparently. You don't seem too happy about it. No. I'm happy, really. This is just a lot. I'm a bit overwhelmed. And that's to be expected. We didn't exactly give you any kind of warning. This is what I was talking about when I said we should have to... Would you stop trying to make excuses for yourself? You've already said multiple times that you didn't agree with it being a surprise. I think he's got it by now. You don't need to keep trying to walk away with it.
I would never. That's not what I'm trying to do at all.
Your face inspires no confidence whatsoever.
Shush.
Anyway, I know it's a lot to do something like this with no warning, but we thought you could use some distraction. You said it yourself before that you don't know what to do with yourself half the time. I suppose I've mentioned that a couple times over the last few weeks, yeah. Plus, I think we speak for everyone here when I say that we want to be able to hang out together again. Just having lunch at school isn't all that fun. We miss you, you dummy. What she said.
It really isn't the same when you're not around Yuichi-san.
I've been back to school for a week now. What do you mean you miss me? Oh, Major Pebble the Tiger, are you non-binary? Hell yeah. You know it's not the same. I know that, but give the guy a break here. What do you expect me to say after all of this? I'm barely managing to keep my face together. I'm not used to having people say things like this directly to me. Ugh. Besides, Jun-kun here was super excited about the whole thing. He kept triple and quadruple checking our plans and insisting that we do something that is as fun as possible for you. Poor guy could barely keep himself from telling you all week. I mean, I'm gay. I'm pretty sure. What? Don't tell him that! Whoa, is that true? I might have gone a bit overboard. That's all. So June was looking forward to planning a surprise party for me despite all that's been going on recently. Crap, my face feels so hot right now. Aw, would you look at that? He's blushing. So precious.
Would you two cut that out? Piling it on even more is cruel.
Jeez, you guys are mean. You guys are mean. Not our fault you two are so easy to mess with. Wait. Sai and Shoichi I get. The two of them already know about June and I, but Isn't this a little dangerous? You guys are being so obvious right now. Shoichi-san, I'm going to get mad. Oh no. got the blank. We got the GBTQ. Almost looking for the L before I take another. I'm probably going to take another L before stream is over. Oh no, the tiger is getting mad at me. Whatever shall I do?
Shoichi, man, you can be so ungraceful sometimes.
Screw Grace, you're the one who cares about that kind of thing, not me. Is it safe for me to come downstairs now? Aki, you brat! You knew all about this, didn't you? Of course I did. Someone had to keep an eye on you to make sure the plan worked. At least try to make an excuse. Stop looking so smug. Why are you looking at me like that? Should I leave? Aw. And I was looking forward to joining you all for the movie marathon. That's... Oh, is it Studio Ghibli? That's not... I didn't mean you... Just shut up and sit down.
Okay.
Oh, but I should probably put this food away first. We're not eating this right now anyways. Thanks, Aki-kun. Wait, you guys got karage? Wouldn't it have been better to buy it a bit before dinner then? It'll be soggy by the time we eat. That's what I said, but Mizuguchi-san smelled it on our way to the bakery and insisted. Wait, seriously, I thought we agreed we were buying ingredients for okonomiyaki and sukiyaki. I couldn't help it. It smelled so good.
Wow, Akiyoshi-kun is right. It's been steaming inside the package. The skin probably won't stay crispy for long.
Well, really? I'll eat it. I'll eat it right now. What do you mean you'll eat it right now? You had lunch right before you left your place, you dumbass glutton. What else am I supposed to do? We can't let it go to waste. Yeah. As my family would say, I'm on a seafood diet. That means when I see food, I eat it. Once wasted food. I got screamed at for a solid hour after I wasted it. So I don't waste food anymore. I think. I don't know. Guys, I really don't think the karage should be the focus here. Jun tries in vain to rein in the chaos surrounding us, but Saya and Shoichi continue to bicker for a fair few minutes while Aki wordlessly puts the food away and grabs a tray to place the cake on. Having given up on understanding any of this mess... Yeah, I'll take an L for that. Having given up on understanding any of this mess, I merely lean back and watch the chaos unfold with a wry smile on my face. Although my brain still hurts from all of this getting sprung on me at the drop of a hat, I have to admit that the lively atmosphere feels nice. Yeah, I see food, I eat it. Nom nom nom. Even at the best of times, everyone has been quite clearly walking on eggshells around me for the last month. It's strange, but seeing this whole disaster makes me feel a bit nostalgic. I've missed this. A few hours later... Once the food argument got settled, we all found a way to sit around the TV where Saya, Shoichi, and Keisuke promptly started to argue about what movie we should watch first. Can we watch My Neighbor Totoro first? It seemed like there was no way for an argument to end without it being replaced by a different one. And then again, that's just how these three are, so I shouldn't be surprised. I've noticed a few times by now that Shoichi and Keisuke are a lot friendlier and more familiar with each other, but I hadn't realized how much until now. Since there wasn't enough room for everyone on the two couches, especially with me taking up an extra space due to my leg and crutches, Shoichi elected to leave an empty space and instead sat next to Keisuke on the floor. Can we watch My Neighbor Totoro? It's a good movie. If not, then Spirited Away. I've been obsessed with Studio Ghibli these past few weeks. I've been obsessed with it. The whole time that we were watching the movies, I could see Shoichi's tail brushing up against the hare's leg every now and again, as if he were trying to decide whether it was safe to rest it on Keisuke's lap or not. And again, the only reason I even noticed that in the first place is because Jun does the exact same thing. It probably would have escaped me entirely otherwise. Yes, there is a Discord server. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, okay. So, me and some friends in my personal life, me and some personal friends, um, we are planning a movie night. Oh no, what's this link? Is it a Twitch link? Oh, it's a link to the Discord server. Okay. But no, no. It's like I love Studio Ghibli. I love Studio Ghibli. But no, me and some friends, we are planning on doing like a movie night and watching Studio Ghibli movies. And I'm like, we are watching My Neighbor Totoro first. I will fight people on this. It probably would have escaped me entirely otherwise. I wonder if there's something going on there. Shoichi likes guys too, right? And he did say that Keisuke was very supportive of him after I got in my accident. I haven't seen that one, but you know what movie just like completely broke me in this Studio Ghibli movie? Grave of the Fireflies. I watched that one and I fucking cried. Like I was just sitting in my chair, the sobbing mess, just no, not the gremlin, not the little gremlin going all no. I was a sobbing mess. Like I was just sitting there, tears running down my face, a sobbing mess. Same thing happened with My Neighbor Totoro. Hmm. But is that even possible? I don't think Case-kun swings that way, does he? What even are the odds at this point? Still, after several hours of the most eclectic movie selection known to man, from one of Saya's sci-fi movies to Kei-kun's romantic drama, Shoichi's mystery thriller, and Jun's anime, the group decides to take a short break so that everyone can use the bathroom and food can be prepared. Jun and I are the only ones left in the living room while the others have taken to the kitchen in an effort to reheat the karage. Shoichi, the oil is too hot. You're gonna burn them. Seriously, it's not even sizzling. That's because you haven't added anything to it yet. Oil doesn't sizzle on its own. It doesn't? Then how do you know it's too hot? It didn't work? Alright, let me add you to the server then. I think I know what happened. I think I know what happened. Hang on, let me add you to the server. Server settings, roles, and I'm also going to fix the issue at the same time. I'm also going to fix the issue. Yeah. I'll move that up there. Save changes. Edit. Manage members. Which user are you? Oh wait, add members. I'm dumb. Alright, there we go. There we go. You are now added to the server. Shoichi, get the fuck out of the kitchen. You do not need to be in the kitchen. Get the fuck out of it. Get the fuck out of it. It doesn't? Then how do you know it's too hot?
You do see that there's smoke coming out of it, right?
Is that not supposed to happen? Shoichi? Do you not know? Oil is not supposed to be smoking, Yuichi. You're burning the oil. God damn it. Like, Jesus. Shoichi, get the fuck out of the kitchen. What is even going on back there? Should we just, like, do the entire update tonight? That is a serious question. Should we just do the entire Tennessee update tonight? What is even going on back there? Please don't ruin my kitchen. Maybe I should have gone back there myself. Do any of them even know how to cook? Despite saying that, Jun makes no effort to get up, instead continuing to watch the two of them from his seat while rubbing his tail against me. We're like almost halfway through the update. Saya is a good enough cook. She's not the best at plating, but she's never made anything inedible. I see. Maybe it'll be okay then? Shoni, too much. There's too much. The oil is going to overflow. Oh, shit. My house is going to be set on fire, isn't it? I guess I better start looking into how much a hotel room costs. Yuichi-san, aren't you a bit too calm right now? I'm doing those breathing exercises you taught me. That's not really what they're for. Doesn't matter what they're for, at least they're keeping me from choking someone out right now. The tiger attempts to force a smile, though from how much his mouth and brow are twitching, I can tell how much he's struggling to keep it up. Yeah, there is an NSFW part of... Yeah, because, like, stream bugged out earlier. So long as everything's fine. God, my karaage! Look at it! It's almost black! It's, extra crispy. I'll make you extra crispy.
Mizuguchi-san, please be careful with the oil.
Of course I'm going to be careful with the oil, you dumbass. I'm putting it away so we can get fresh oil that isn't burnt. Oh, is that all? I thought you were going to throw what oil at me or something.
Emotional
Are you
damage.
crazy? Why would I do that?
You did say you were going to make... You did say you were going to make him extra crispy.
See? Sai seems to have taken over for Shoichi, so I think we're in the clear.
You call that clear?
It's at times like these that you really show how new you are to this group. This isn't that uncommon, you know. That's a scary thing to say. Man, June should see the kind of crap that used to happen back on our camping trips during middle school, or the one incident where we went to a hot pot restaurant during the school trip our freshman year, or the time I almost set the woods on fire. Wait, what? If there is a way to turn a regular everyday event into some kind of odyssey, these guys will find it. I've learned to roll with it a long time ago. Hell, half the time I egg them on, or just because it's funny to see how much something can escalate. That really is a scary smile you have on your face right now. I did almost set the woods on fire once. Not too long ago, actually. Meepa, don't worry about it. I'm just remembering some stuff. I see. As I continue to watch the show unfolding in my kitchen, June looks between me and the scene several times, fidgeting on his seat for a bit until I look at him once again. Is something wrong? Well, I was wondering about something. Yeah? Do you think it'd be okay to tell everyone sometime by next week? Oh, my eyes wide at not having expected June to say that of all things, especially when the others are only a few meters away. Then again, I guess they're distracted enough, but still. What brought this on? You know, we spent all this time sitting next to each other, but we couldn't really do anything about it. You're not telling me you want to be all clinging to me in front of everyone, are you? No! Or at least not exactly. Maybe a little. I want to at least be able to lean on you and hold your hand, you know. Oh man, you say that like it's not a big deal, but even thinking of doing that makes my whole face go flushed almost immediately. I don't think I'd have the guts to do it regardless if they know or not. Hell, Shoichi is a lot bolder than I am about this stuff. He's never hesitated to cling to me in public before over the years. The only way to get him to stop was to push him away, though he's been better about it for the past year or two. And yet he still doesn't have the guts to do it either today. I guess we can at least tell them. It's not like there's that many people to tell. Shoichi and Sai already know anyway. That means it's just Kei-kun, and maybe Aki and Mom. Fucking hell, I'm a lot worse at keeping secrets than I thought, aren't I? That's terrible. Thanks, I just wanted to, you know, at least be able to kiss you when we're celebrating your birthday. You really are asking for a lot here. Would you seriously have the courage to do that in front of everyone? Yeah, why not? Wow, you're a lot stronger than I am, June. I seriously respect you more now. Maybe we could start small. Kissing right from the get-go would be a bit... I don't mind building up to it. I just want to be able to be closer to you, you know, in a lot of ways. Fuck, what other ways are there? We already hold hands, snuggle, and kiss a lot. I'd be okay with maybe holding hands or letting you rest your tail on my lap. But the rest of that stuff in front of Saya or Shoichi or Aki? Gah, no, please, spare me.
Yuichi? Hello?
I'm fine, nothing...
The cake!
There's frosting everywhere! Shoichi! It was on accident. I swear it was an accident. For the brief few minutes that I took my eyes away from them, it seems things managed to escalate even more to the point that my cake somehow ended up... Oh my god. For the brief few minutes that I took my eyes away from them, it seems things managed to escalate even more to the point that my cake somehow ended up half crushed by a pile of half-burnt karage that was supposed to be thrown away. Mood totally ruined. June and I can do nothing but stare in shock and horror at the circus. I'm gonna go see if I can salvage things a bit, okay? Please don't let them destroy my kitchen. I'm on it. By the time the disaster has at least been partly stopped, a third of the karage and at least half of the cake are beyond salvation. For the rest of the night, Saya grumbled unhappily while staring daggers at Shoichi. This was beautiful. I've never seen someone so tall shrink into themselves quite that much before. Still, for as much of a wreck as all this has been, I still had fun. Nothing else, at least this has been a super memorable birthday party. August 4th, Friday. See, like, okay. I didn't take a culinary class in school. But I still know how to cook for the most part. Okay, Michimiya-kun, I have some items to discuss with you, but overall it's pretty reassuring news. I nod, getting up on reflex, and immediately wincing as I feel the familiar snag in my knee from moving so suddenly. Easy there, you've just finished a physiotherapy session, don't push yourself. Sorry, it was just reflex. I feel a little pathetic for needing to be coddled like this, but at the same time, I know I'm being unreasonable. Just running through the list of exercises I've done today during the hour and a half that my session took makes my brain hurt a little. Squats, step-overs, leg raises, cycling, testing my balance, walking without crutches. It's no wonder I'm a bit tired. I'm not only recovering from the initial injury, but also from the surgery. And all that on top of basically not using my leg for almost 2 months. Of course it won't be used to that much movement anymore. Still, the feeling of seeing the progress after every session is what keeps me going. The fact that I could walk around the physiotherapist's office without support, even if he'd be following right next to me in case I fell, was already a small taste of freedom that I kept looking forward to. Once I finished my session earlier today, the sparrow was all smiles, telling me to rest up and wait for my doctor to see me after passing on his notes. For some reason, his attitude left me more anxious than issue. The whole time I was at the waiting room with Mom and Aki, I had to consciously keep myself from tapping my leg over and over. Pretty sure that'll be heavily frowned upon considering what I'm in here for in the first place. First of all, looking at your latest scans, along with the opinions of your physical therapist, your rheumatologist and your orthopedic surgeon, we feel optimistic about your recovery so far. Meaning that while we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves yet, everything indicates your recovery is going well. Based on objective findings thus far, I feel comfortable having you ease off the crutches and progress to light weight-bearing activities. Wait, so I can walk around without it now? So long as you're not forcing yourself, yes. You're still not allowed to exercise, carry heavy objects, or do anything that might put undue strain on your knee. But it does seem your ligaments are recovering well enough. The incision site is healed, and the muscles have recovered as well as can be expected. I don't predict any issues for you insofar as regular daily activities are concerned. No way. I can actually walk around now? Are you serious? All their predictions when I first got released from the hospital said it'd be at least 8 to 10 weeks before I could walk around on my own 2 feet. Joking around about this kind of thing is cruel. It's only been 5 weeks, you know. The polar bear's lips curve up in a smile. He leans back on his seat, crossing his arms and letting out a low chuckle. I would never joke about something like this. Like I've said, your progress has been remarkable. You were in great physical shape to begin with when you were admitted, but your rate of recovery has certainly caught us by surprise. It easily surpasses even our most optimistic projections. Does this mean... then... could I play tennis again? Immediately, the polar bear's smile drops completely. He looks me in the eye, his gaze so intense that it makes me uncomfortable, forcing me to look away. I'm sorry, Michimiya-kun. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but there's a difference between being optimistic and setting unreasonable expectations. Despite your injury healing a lot faster than expected, we can at most theorize that you'll recover a bit more of your original range of motion than what was originally estimated. That does not mean we can say you'll make a full recovery at this time. Your knee is still considerably debilitated, and the exams do show nerve damage and scar tissue forming that will hinder both sensation and range of motion in the long term. While it is true some athletes can make a comeback from similar ACL injuries, your initial accident involved not only torn ligaments but also multiple fractures. Damaged muscles and the restricted blood flow also caused some permanent damage. It really is a testament to your endurance that you can walk at all. I know it must be painful for you to hear, but I need you to understand, even if your recovery is progressing more smoothly than we expected at this stage, your overall prognosis has not changed at this time. I am truly sorry in that regard. I don't see why that's not too bad. I guess that's to be expected. It really was unreasonable for me to expect otherwise. Of course, I knew that from the get-go. I didn't expect otherwise. It was stupid to hear a small shred of good news and immediately start expecting something impossible to happen. Right, Yuichi, you moron. Don't wind yourself up all on your own, only to lose hope after. You big idiot. The polar bear, maybe sensing my lowering mood, takes to showing me some of my exams. Well, look at this. See how this bone looks here? It's taken well to the internal fixator that was placed inside to stabilize it. So long as you're careful, you should be able to at least return to a mostly normal life right in time for your summer break. Can we at least be glad for that? You're right. Thank you for being honest with me, sir. Of course. He's right. Me getting to play again was a no-go from the start. Instead of getting depressed all over again because of it, I should focus on the positive. I can get rid of the crutches. I can finally go back to living my life, cooking again, doing chores around the house, walking without needing help. Be a normal person. Man, my dreams are really small right now, aren't they? No, before I let you go, do you have any questions or concerns you'd like to bring to my attention? Oh, not really. I think that about covers it. Very well. We'll have your physiotherapy schedule adjusted in the coming weeks, but that is a matter for you to discuss with your physiotherapist. In the meantime, you should be good to return to a regular routine without the use of your crutches, but do be careful not to put too much strain on your knee. Yes, sir. The polar bear smiles again, getting up from his chair and walking me out the door, even going through the trouble of opening it for me. I reach for the crutches when getting up, but hesitate halfway through as I clock what I'm doing. For some reason, I look up at the doctor, uncertain if it is okay for me to do it. The bear, noticing my gaze, smiles reassuringly and nods, giving me the courage to finally take a step. I take a deep breath and get up from the chair. The all too familiar sensation of something tugging or snagging behind... Oh, shit. The all too familiar sensation of something tugging or snatching inside my knee that I've come to expect is nowhere to be found. I know I shouldn't be surprised since I've done lots of exercises during my rehabilitation, but I can stand just fine. Even outside of my physical therapy, I can stand up just fine on my own 2 feet. I hesitate for a second to walk to the door, limping ever so slightly for my first 2 steps in an attempt to not put weight on my knee. But as soon as that uncertainty passes and I notice that I am fine, I readjust myself. I can walk just fine. Of course you can. I wouldn't be doing my job right if I cleared you when you couldn't. I guess that's true, isn't it? Have a good day, Michi-Mia-kun. I will see you in about a month, if I recall correctly. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for everything. Grabbing my crutches, I put them under my arm and head out of the doctor's office, taking a deep breath to recompose myself and get my feelings in check before catching the elevator down to the ground floor. All the feelings I'd kept bottled up are swirling around and threatening to overwhelm me right now, but I don't want to let it show right now. Not when I'm in public. I have to wait until I have a moment to myself. And it is with those thoughts in mind that I step out into the waiting room. Immediately, I spot Mom and Aki as they stand from their seats in shock at the sight of me. "Nichan, you're walking without the crutches!" "I sure am, buddy." Aki quickly rushes up to me with a goofy smile on his face, barely containing himself from the hopping around in glee. Meanwhile, Mom stays frozen to her spot, looking at me with an indescribable look on her face. I steel myself, confidently taking a few steps to close the distance between us, trying my best to reassure her that I am doing okay. Look, I got clear to stop using these. Isn't that great, Mom?" "It really is, sweetie. I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to hear." "Really? Because you don't look like it." "Aki!" "What? I'm kidding." Mom pets Aki, ruffling his fur and making the giddy little Shiba giggle. It's been a while since I've seen Aki seem that excited. "It's alright. We all are happy. Give your little brother a break, Yuichi." "When didn't I?" Nichan, does this mean you're all good now?" "Of course it doesn't. I can go back to walking without helping, but I still need to keep doing physical therapy and being careful about not forcing my knee too much." "That's a bummer. I thought you could go back to playing." "Come on, Aki, be reasonable. With how badly my knee got mangled in that accident, it's a miracle I can still stand. Shouldn't expect that much from it." "Aww." I will conveniently leave out the part that I asked a question not too different from this one to the doctor myself. Aki doesn't need to know that. I whip out my phone, immediately pulling my conversation with June and beginning to type something up when a loud sigh catches my attention. Yuichi, you just got cleared to walk without your crutches again. Could you please not type while you walk? What if you trip or hit something? Relax, Mom. It's not a big deal. I just want to send a quick text. No, please wait until we get to the car. All right. Sheesh. Who are even texting? June. Why? I was curious. It's not like I don't get you wanting to talk to your friends. We did get some really good news and all. Oh, I know. I'm heading out of town later tonight for work. But if we go for a quick celebration, we could probably invite your friends or maybe some other time. I'm still kind of overwhelmed, so I'd rather take it easy. I'll tell them tomorrow. Oh? Then who are you telling? I never said I was texting someone about the results of my exams, Mom. Sure, that is what I'm doing, but I never said it was. I'm messaging June. So you'll only tell Kobayashi-kun? Again, never said I was telling him. Assumptions. Yeah, well, June still feels guilty about all of this, so I figured I should. Besides, Shoichi and Sai's feelings can be very big, and I don't have the energy to deal with that right now. Right. That much is true about those two. Maybe we can look into inviting them over tomorrow? Give me some time to process things without becoming the center of attention and everything. What? No fair! Going to be busy tomorrow. You are? With what? I'm going to have a sleepover tonight, and then I'm supposed to spend time with my friends tomorrow. You? Huh? Mom insisted. Yes, well, I didn't want you turning into a shut-in. And your friends have been calling you and coming over to ask if you could go out with them quite a lot the past few weeks. I know. And it is certainly not nice to keep blowing them off when they're so worried about you. I know. Wow, I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting that. I'm surprised you didn't know about it, Yuichi. Aki made the plans with his friends almost a week ago. I thought he would have told you by now. This is great timing, actually, Nichan. Please tell her she's being unreasonable. I can stay home if I want to, right? Why do I have to go spend the night out just because she's worried? Actually, no, I agree with Mom. You what? You've been pretty much staying home at all times. You barely go out with your friends or do anything really. I had to push you into even going back to the club to practice. What's with you? You're supposed to be the one insisting I stay home because you're worried and all that crap. Why do you think I waited so long to tell you? You kept it from me in hopes that I'd object to spending the night out since it's too short notice? Yes! Wow. He's not even 1% ashamed of blatantly trying to manipulate me like that. I guess I kind of have that reputation by now. It's not like there isn't a precedent or anything, but to be honest, I feel really guilty seeing Aki stay stuck indoors all the time trying to look out for me. I don't want my little brother throwing away his social life just because of me. Too bad. I agree with Mom here. You barely talk to your friends in weeks. Go be social. We still see each other at school. You're in the middle of our summer break. You don't have school. Besides, you're the one who'd pick fights with me all the time because you wanted to spend the night with your friend's house, and I'd say no. Boo! Nichan, you're being unreasonable. Boo! How am I the bad guy here? Besides, even if I wasn't worried about your social life and seeing you lock yourself in the house for weeks at a time, I kind of want to have some time to myself too sometimes, you know. It's nice not to have people waiting around me hand and foot all day. I miss having the house to myself. Since I can't go out much yet, I want to at least feel like I have time to think. Having company is nice, but there's a difference between company and babysitting. That's quite enough, you two. Let's not fight in the middle of a hospital. We're not fighting. I say as Aki continues to pout and even shows me his tongue when Mom isn't looking. Is this seriously the same kid who argues with me whenever I describe him as just being 12? At least decide whether you're going to be mature or not. We quickly make our way to our parked car with Mom opening the trunk for me from inside it so I can put away my crutches. Unfortunately, my distraction, I nearly hit Aki with them, not having noticed him coming up behind me to help. Oops, sorry. Please be more careful, dear. I will. Once we get in the car, Aki continues to sulk while shooting me glances every now and again, as if expecting me to notice and do something about it. Sadly for him, I am very aware of the game he's currently playing, and I have no intention of participating in it. Instead, I go back to sending June that message I tried to type up earlier. Poke. Hey, busy? Not right now. How did the console go? I've got good news. Was wondering if you wanted to come over today.
I think I can.
He is a comfy cutie. I'll have to check to make sure, but it's not like I have anything I need to do. Nice. Spend the night, maybe? Oh. What the hell is that?
I think that's okay.
Did you ask your family if I can first? It's fine. Mom and Aki are both gonna spend the night out.
Oh. I'll get back to you in a bit. I have to go check.
KK. I smile to myself, my tail already doing its best to wag behind me, despite the lack of space at the mere thought of having June spend the night. I feel so sappy for getting this happy at the mere thought of him, but at this point, I neither care nor want to do anything about it. June makes me feel good, and considering all the crap going on in my life outside of him right now, I need that to feel normal again. Once we get home, Aki initially tries to help me inside, though to his credit, he pulls away before I can say anything.
It's time to drink
seemingly
water.
realizing that I don't need the help anymore.
It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
Oh no.
It's time to drink
He hangs
water.
around awkwardly for a second before piping up and awkwardly claiming to be thirsty. I cleared it with Mom and Dad. Nice. Nice. They were a little worried since I sprung it on them, but they agreed. Oh. Sorry, I hope I didn't cause you any problems with them. Don't worry about it. I want to spend the night. I think we're just going to do the entire update tonight. You're just overprotective sometimes. You can guess why. Oh. When you put it that way... the hell is... Yeah, it'll be a long VOD, but I'm able to edit it. I said not to worry about it. Still won't be as long as the home somewhere else, I think. Maybe, hopefully. I can be there in a few hours. Is that okay? Yeah. I'll call you later tonight. Hey, Mom, I know short notice, but I've invited June over to spend the night, okay? That's fine with me. But I thought you said you didn't want to do anything to do. I don't want a big celebration or anything. It would be way too much for me. But this is just June, so I thought that'd be alright. Well, I have nothing against it, but I won't really be home tonight, remember? That's fine. It's not like I need you to tend to my friend's mom. I suppose. Don't have a problem with it, but I worry. Go on, Mom. Come on, Mom. It's not like I'm a kid anymore or anything, but haven't I been doing a good job of looking out for myself, all these things considered? Fair enough. If you really want to, I won't refuse. Thanks. Your little brother won't be happy about it, however. No surprise there. He's still sulking about having a sleepover of his own. He acts as if we were forcing him to do something horrible. Doesn't even look like he's being allowed to spend the night at a friend's place playing games. Something he'd constantly ask to do before all this. Aki will be fine, Mom. He's not a little kid either, remember? Isn't that what he always says? Then again, he is still little. He just insists he isn't a kid. Give your brother a break. You were the same when you were his age. Always insisting you were mature for your age and that you didn't need to be looked out for. Yeah, but in my defense, I was pretty much taking care of both me and Aki while doing most of the chores and cooking in the house. That's, I suppose that's true. Wait, God, didn't mean to make you feel bad about that. We were still getting on our feet financially back then. It's not like you had a choice. Please don't feel bad. That aside, I should probably look into making lunch. Should I make enough for dinner for you and Kobayashi-kun later tonight? No, don't worry. We can eat one of the frozen meals that Sai brought over. There's still at least half a dozen left. Yuichi, you can't feed frozen meals to guests. Mom, they're from a restaurant. It's a diner. How upscale the place is isn't the point. If it were, there'd be no chance in hell of me winning. It is a maid cafe, after all. If you say so. He is your friend, after all. Yes, right. Friend. That's what he is. Seriously, Mom, this isn't a dinner party. There's no need to go all fancy on it. I suppose so. Either way, do let me know if you need my help with anything. It'll be fine. Doctor said I can go back to my normal daily routine, remember? Didn't you mention him also saying you need to be careful to not overexert yourself? I won't overexert myself just by hanging out with a friend. What exactly do you think I'd be doing? Knowing you? Cooking enough food to last us a week. I have no reason to be anxious. Besides, that only happened one time. This year, you mean? That's beside the point. And seriously, stop making good points. It's getting really hard to refute them. Well, I'll go get changed and then I'll start on lunch. You boys feel free to do whatever you want in the meantime. That's okay, I can help. Are you sure? I'd be more than happy to. Now that I finally can. Alright, I don't see why not. Can you chop the vegetables I hand to you while I prepare the marinade? Okay. A few hours later. Despite my sudden newfound freedom from my crutches, I completely blank when trying to think of what to do. So did I somehow find myself doing summer vacation homework on the kitchen counter, a fate as basic as it is boring? How did I even end up doing this in the first place? Out of everything I could be doing, why on earth did I pick homework? Then again, I was away long enough that the pile of homework I need to do during our break is almost twice the size of everyone else's. If I don't do it at some point, I won't make a dent in it until it's too late. I wanted to help Mom with chores, but thanks to Sai's interference, the house is more or less pristine anyway. I could start a load of laundry, but how little of it there is to do, it'd be a waste of water. Curse that bunny and her good-natured helpfulness! My general internal rant is interrupted when a knock echoes from the front door, causing my ears to perk up as I instinctively get up in one quick movement. Oh hey, even when I basically jumped like this, I still didn't feel anything other than some mild stiffness in my knee. That's progress! Is that Kobayashi-kun coming over? Mom pipes up from the living room where she's been sitting around with her laptop, no doubt doing work despite technically being off the clock. I think so. I'll get the door. I'll head to my room upstairs then. What? You don't have to. No, it's fine. I had to regardless. I need to get ready to head out. Otherwise I'll get to my hotel far too late. I'll also have to drop your brother off at his friend's. Oh, I guess that's a fair point. It won't be too long until it starts getting dark out. Coming. Hey there, took you a while. Sorry, I told myself I would do a certain amount of homework every day during summer break to avoid getting behind on it. But I was having trouble focusing. Oh, I was doing homework until you got here too. I could tutor you if you want. Please, no. I've had more than enough of it today. That's not why I came here. Heh, a fair point. Can I come in? Please do. I make sure to close the door behind the tiger as he steps in, taking off his shoes and grabbing a random pair of slippers from the shoe cabinet. Once he's finished doing that, June turns around to give me a proper look. And that's when his eyes go wide. Wait, Yuichi-kun, where are your crutches? Pretty neat, right? I got the all clear to walk without them this morning. You're kidding! That's amazing! It really is, isn't it? Man, I was starting to feel a little underwhelmed about being able to walk since I spent pretty much all my time after getting home doing work. But hearing the excitement in his voice is definitely getting my tension back up. I lead the tiger inside, taking a seat at the now vacated couch while he follows suit. So you don't need to use them anymore? Like, at all? Nope, totally done with them. I'm allowed to go back to my normal daily life now, so long as I don't put too much strain on my knee, that is. I still have to keep up with my physical therapy and do some exercises at home every now and again, but other than getting back to the gym and whatnot, I should be golden. I'm so glad! It's good to see things getting back to normal. Well, even if a little bit, but you still can't play tennis? No. Doctors don't think that's changing anytime soon, or at all. I'm sorry. You better not be apologizing for the reason I think you are. I'll pinch your cheek if that's the case. My bad. It's hard not to feel guilty sometimes. A good dose of cheek pinching ought to get rid of that. Stay away from my cheeks, you fiend. Haha, that's more like it. Are you alone at the house? You said Aki-kun and your mom would be out tonight, but did they already leave? Mom's in her room working. Aki's doing God knows what. Maybe homework? I'm surprised they're not down here with you. I figured they'd want to spend time with you after getting such good news. Aki hung around for a bit after lunch, but he went back upstairs after a while. I think he feels awkward since I don't need his help anymore. Hell, he's been awkward about it for weeks now. The more independent I get, the more awkward he seems to act. I think he wants to be useful and doesn't know how. I don't blame him, but also, thank God we're done with that. I see. I guess it must be a relief then, huh? How so? Not feeling smothered as much. Not having to worry about your family crowding around you every waking second. It's scary how on point June can be sometimes. Leave it to someone who's lived through it before, I guess. You're not wrong there. I know. All that aside, this is some pretty sweet news, right? You'd imagine I'd be jumping for joy, rushing to get back to my regular routine, wouldn't you? And yet, it's been so long that you have no idea what to do with yourself? Exactly. Been there. It's no fun. What did you do to get past that? Because seriously, I really can't think of what to do. I could get out of the house if I wanted, but then what would I do? I could cook or do chores, but we have plenty of food and there are no chores that need doing. I can walk to school no problem, but we're in the middle of summer break. I am stumped. I think you're overwhelming yourself. What do you mean? You're thinking of every single thing you could possibly do now. That's way too many choices. It's no wonder you'd have trouble making a decision, especially since it's you. That last part was uncalled for. My point is, instead of thinking of everything you could do, why not bring it down to a specific category? Think of a specific place you could go to, and then think of what kinds of things you could do there. You're probably thinking like, I could go swimming, or running, or to the mall, or to the park, or to the theater, or to the club, or. That's too much. Think of a specific place, and then think of what you could do there. And that works for you? It's at least better than the alternative. Huh. I'm not sure that you and I operate in the same way, but I'll at least keep that in mind to try it later. Does that mean you want us to go out somewhere right now? Nah, since you're here, I'd much rather we stay at home and spend time together. You sure? I don't mind going out. You must be going crazy being cooped up all the time. It's fine. Besides, I don't know when Mom or Aki will go out, so I'd rather be at home when they do. Fair enough. Where are they going anyway? Aki's having a sleepover with friends, under duress, it seems. Mom is going on a work trip. Under duress? What does that even mean? Someone holding a gun to his head or something? Figuratively speaking, Mom says she doesn't want him to become a shut-in. He's barely left the house since my accident. What am I singing? I might strike a match, watch flames to a dance. I might whisper to a clone, it's nothing but a house of cards. Stand back and watch it all burn down. Cause I might blow a kiss, watch the favorite twist. I might whisper to close, it's nothing but a house of cards. Stand back and watch it all fall down. Doesn't the same go for you in that case? Hey. Okay. Oh, are the lyrics already in there? Are the lyrics already there? I might strike a match, watch flames to a dance. I might whisper to a close, it's nothing but a house of cards. Stand back and watch it all burn down, cause I might blow a kiss. Yeah, watch the favorite twist. I might whisper to close, nothing but a house of cards. Stand back and watch it all fall down. I don't know the song. Hey, I'm an adult, I'm allowed, and yet my concern still remains. You're not my mom, stop fussing over me. Either way, the end result is the same. Of the house to myself, Mom mentioned over lunch that she wished she could cancel the trip since she didn't know I'd be getting cleared to walk again so soon. But it's too late for that. So she really is back to working full-time, huh? She's making an effort to show her face around the house more often, but yeah. Still nice to see her around a little more frequently. She must be having a hard time. She's always having a hard time. At this point, it's hard to even tell what's going on with her. Then again, she's really passionate about her work, so I wouldn't dare say anything about it. I already think it's a miracle she stayed home for so many weeks. She'll be fine. Besides, there's no point in worrying about something you can't change. That's never stopped me before. Me neither, but that doesn't make it any less valid. You really should think twice about giving advice you don't follow yourself. Hey, leave me be. If I want to be a hypocrite, that's my decision. Pfft, okay, I wasn't expecting you to outright say that. Not as predictable as you thought, am I? Predictable? Since I've met you, you've been anything but. Aw, that's nice. Wait, is that even a compliment? Eh, whatever, I'll consider it one. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere, anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. How about we play some games? I'm getting a little bored of playing with Justaki. He's terrible at racing games. So am I. At least kicking a different person's butt might give me a sense of freshness again. If that's the best you can do, then your trash talking needs some serious work. Yeah, I just did the fun song in June's voice. Does this mean you're chicken? Wow, getting colder and colder. But fine, I'll play. Well, got what I wanted in the end anyway. Truly a result of your max level charisma stat. In a sense. June and I continue joking around, trading barbs back and forth while I grab the controllers and set up something for us to play. However, once I sit back down and we're about to start the first race, the tiger gets up from his seat next to me on the couch and instead sits on the floor right in front of me. What are you doing? Taking a seat. Why on the floor? There's plenty of room. Nah, I'd rather sit on the floor between your legs. Best seat in the house. Huh? Motherfucker. God fucking... God fucking damn it, June. Oh, I set it up that way, because then I'd just be singing all the time. Yeah. Nah, I'd rather sit on the floor between your legs. Best seat in the house. That is... Fuck... Oh, June. That was a real... That was a real knee slapper right there. Huh? I have to look away to try to hide the dumb look on my face right now. Though I doubt that'll do much for the strangled yelp I just did. Why on earth would you want to sit there? I don't know. Maybe it's a cat thing. The tiger always says the last part in a kind of sing-songy voice. Clearly having way too much fun at my expense. His tail brushes up against my leg, kind of wrapping itself around it. It's immediately clear to me that June is enjoying this far too much to stop now. I mean, I'm sure he would if I told him I'm legitimately uncomfortable with it, but... What the hell, this isn't too bad. You do know this would be pretty difficult to explain if someone walked in on us, right? Would it? We're just playing games, there's nothing to see here. I'm not so sure about that. If someone looks at us and sees anything other than two friends playing games, that's because they're intentionally doing so. I'm definitely not so sure about that either. Also, how long do you plan on sitting still at the starting line? I've already finished my first lap. What? Weren't counting on that, were you? What was it you said earlier? Something about kicking my butt? That's downright dirty. So is picking on a newbie, but you didn't seem too bothered by that. We all play using our own skill sets. So that's how it is, huh? You're picking a fight with the wrong guy, Tiger. Come on. Game on. Sometime later. June proves to be more than an even match for me, even if it's in a very unorthodox way. But what you mean, the tiger keeps casually shuffling and squirming on the floor, brushing and rubbing his body and tail against me at the most inconvenient times. It's not much now that I'm used to it, but it's just enough to surprise me each time and throw me off. In the end, despite him not being that good of a racer, I still can't manage to beat him that often. Which isn't to say that he manages to win. In fact, he often finishes in 4th or 5th place. Just that instead of finishing first myself, he manages to drag me down to around the same level as him. That's the most normal cat I've ever seen. Worse still, every time I call him out on it, he giggles and makes a joke about it. Come on, you can't possibly be pleased with yourself. You're playing dirty. A victory is a victory. You're not even winning. Finishing ahead of you is winning. Your definition of victory is all kinds of wrong. Never pick a fight with the cat. We have our own ways of solving things. Aren't you supposed to be a tiger? Cats, tigers, in the end, we're all felines anyway. Pretty sure I would get called every name under the sun if I said that out loud. I'm a tiger. I'm allowed. Is that how it works? Really? That sounds wrong somehow. Suddenly, June adjusts himself on his seat, his ears twitching and his tail standing at attention. He shifts forward, pulling himself away from me somewhat without immediately getting up. What? Someone's coming. Huh? Then I hear, too, the unmistakable sound of footsteps coming from the stairs. Wait, did he hear someone walking around upstairs before they reached the stairs? Idiot, you're supposed to be having fun. I can have fun at home just fine. Why do I have... Oh, June-san. I didn't know you were here. Right. I suppose we forgot to mention your brother invited him over to spend the night. You did? June shoots me what seems to be a smile, but it's clearly obvious that it doesn't reach his eyes. Don't look at me like that. I asked Mom for permission. I don't need to ask Aki. Aw, man, now I'm even more bummed to go out. Sweetie, you can't stay stuck at home so long. That's non-negotiable. Boo. Wait, Kobayashi-kun, why are you sitting on the floor? Haha. Yuichi, don't tell me you're making your friend sit on the floor. What? Why would you think that? It's okay. I'm the one who wanted to sit here. You did? Why? Are the couches not comfortable enough for you? Ugh. See? There's no way people wouldn't find it weird for you to be sitting on the floor like that. No, they're perfect. I just prefer sitting on the floor when I'm playing games. I like to see as close to the TV as possible. Is that so? Well, so long as you're comfortable. What? You cannot be serious right now. Just like that. That's all it took. I am. Don't worry about it. It's okay, Jun-san. I like to sit close to the TV when I play too. Ooh, nice, Aki-kun. You're one of my people. What does that even mean? How are you doing this? You're way too good of a liar. Holy crap. Man, I really wish I could stay home. Don't give Mom even more trouble over this, Aki. We already talked about it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I think being able to go out and see your friends is pretty great, Aki-kun. What about it don't you like? Aki's gaze falls on me for several seconds before he turns his face away and looks down at the floor, fidgeting uncomfortable on his feet. Yuichi-kun is fine, you know. Besides, I'll be here to take care of him if anything goes wrong, so you don't have to worry about it. Hey. I'm not saying you need to be taken care of. Sense the tone, Yuichi-kun. Despite him saying that, I still grumble unhappily at the idea that I might need taking care of. Regardless, Jun quickly ignores me, getting on his feet to address Aki once again. I know it's hard to get away after everything that happened, especially since you felt you had to step up for a while to take care of Yuichi. But can't you think of this as a good thing? I know, but it's hard. Not to rub it in or anything, but you do know this is exactly how I felt all those times I fussed over you, and remember how annoyed you get at me for it? Yeah. Alright. Let's not go too far here. We don't need to make your brother feel bad right before he's supposed to leave for the night. Who's making anyone feel bad here? Certainly not me. I'll try to have fun. There we go. That wasn't so hard, was it? Don't push it. Geez, lighten up. This isn't that big of a deal. Having a sleepover and playing games with friends, how could that be a bad thing? By the way, Yuichi-kun told me that you're going on some sort of work trip. Good luck, Michimiya-san. That's very sweet of you, Kobayashi-kun. Thank you. Nichan, try not to give Jun-san too much trouble, okay? Who do you think you're talking to? You. That's why I said it. Twerp. We should really get going now, Aki. Remember, you're supposed to be having dinner at your friend's. We can't get there too late, and it's almost nightfall. Yeah. Bye, Jun-san. Bye, Nichan. Bye, you two. Remember to lock the door if you go out, Yuichi. We're not going anywhere, don't worry. Bye, have a safe trip. Jun cheerfully leans back on his seat while giggling, immediately getting back to rubbing his tail against my leg, this time even more brazenly. See? I told you no one would care about it. I don't know how you do it, but you're way too good at bullshitting people. Years of practice comes with the territory. I know what you mean, and I know why you do it, but it's still not that great hearing your boyfriend talk about how good of a liar he is. Could we switch games, by the way? Racing games aren't much that anything. Sure, if you want to. I don't mind. Where do you keep your games? They're saved digitally. This isn't an old console, remember? Oh, right. I don't think I could do it. I like having the physical media way too much. It's more convenient this way. June browses my game library for a little while, looking up each of the games I've got installed without much interest. So we don't share that many similarities, at least as far as our taste in games is concerned. However, the moment he stops at a specific one, I feel his body stiffening up between my legs, followed by a choking sound. Are you okay? You have Legends of Berkeria? Yeah, I do. I thought it wouldn't release for another 2 weeks. I don't know what to tell you. I have it. I see. The tiger fidgets on his seat, doing a terrible job of hiding just how badly he wants to play it. I smile, finding the whole display more than a little amusing. How I wish I could see the look on his face right now. Alright, settle down. You can play it if you promise to actually sit on the couch next to me. I can? But it's a single-player game. I'm more than fine watching you play. That is, unless you don't want to. Yep, I got him now. How can you go from being such a slick liar to being beyond easy to read? That's hilarious. Without another word, June gets up from the floor, plopping himself on the couch next to me and launching the game. The whole time he doesn't look me in the eye once. That eager, huh? Not a word. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I guess you're not some kind of smooth mastermind after all. The good old carrot on a stick approach still works wonders. As he gets into the game, June's enthusiasm continues to rise. I bought it last minute on a whim when I was bored and ended up not even playing it yet, so I have no idea what to expect. I mean, the whole franchise has 15 or 16 games by now, and I've never played any of them. I only bought it because there's been a lot of hype around it. Still, seeing June's odd reactions makes the whole experience worth it. That's right, when I did lend him one of my systems, I lent him the previous one. I don't think he ever played a current-gen title. And even better yet, Tiger ends up scooting so close to me that at some point, my arm ended up around his shoulder without me even noticing. Yeah. Do we want to stop soon and just finish the rest of the update tomorrow? Do we just want to do that? Yeah, we're gonna switch to cleaved. Yeah. I'm even noticing. Yep, I'm totally fine with this. A few hours later. I might have underestimated just how into these games June is. At first, he was nothing but praise for everything. The graphics, the battle system, the music. But at some point, all of that faded away, being replaced instead by incoherent gasps and shouts of surprise or annoyance. There were moments I couldn't even tell if he was happy with the game or not. After a few hours of this, I ended up suggesting we take a break to eat something. June mumbled a little and seemed sad about it, but he was easily convinced once he smelled one of the dishes I was heating up. And judging by the look he had on his face while eating, it seems he quite liked it. Was that the curry from the cafe Mizuguchi-san works at? Yep, I'm sure she's mentioned bringing food over at least a few times before, right? She did. Yeah, I haven't had curry in a while. That was nice. Really? I always make it at least once a week at home. I mean, yeah, it's easy to make. We just haven't for a bit. Can you tell me why? Still, thanks for the food. That was delicious. I figured you might want to eat something at some point. You got really into the game. I've never seen someone make that much noise playing an RPG. Yeah, it should. Yeah, that's one of my favorite franchises. And I haven't been able to play the more recent titles since I don't have any new consoles. Yeah, I guess I can understand why you'd be this excited for it. Thanks for letting me play. I appreciate it. I hope it didn't bore you too much. Bore me? Far from it. I like RPGs and all, but I'm pretty sure I got way more enjoyment out of it watching you play than I would have if I'd been playing it on my own. Especially considering how you were leaning on me and rubbing your tail against my stomach every time you made a noise. That felt pretty good. By the way, I usually take a bath after dinner. What about you? Yeah, we're gonna leave off here tonight. I am hungry. My tummy has the rumblies. My stomach has the rumblies. I think what we'll do is tomorrow night will be the remainder of it, and then the next day will be cleaved. Because, I don't like doing multiple different types of streams in the same day, unless it's, a specific type. Because that's just how my brain works. Nah. I just, try to find food. Oh, no. Anyways, stay safe. Have a good night. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm going to make myself some ramen.